Okay, well, we should be live. I didn't see. There we go. There's the pop-ups. All right. Now, we're going to keep an eye on the Game Awards just because, I don't expect anything to happen. That concerns me, but, okay, there we go. We can keep an eye on that specific page. Okay, so first things first. We were working on um, the level up system and we broke partially the passives. So that should be the priority today, is fixing that. And the problem with that was connected to the syntax of the passives or how they work in the game versus how they function in the in the level up UI, which has a different expectation of syntax. And the reason this was a problem is when we were writing up the passives at some point, possibly as a placeholder, we made a change to the syntax and we left it. Wait, this. Wait, do I not have it implemented right now on the enemy? Sorry, this syntax I thought would crash the combat system. But it didn't do it. So why did it not crash? Lobby. No. Title stuff? We've moved this stuff around a few times. Yeah, there we go. No, this has Thorny Hide. Ah. We didn't fix this. Let's see here. Maybe it's broken the opposite direction of what I remembered it being broke as. If we go to level cards. No, level cards 2. Wait. Oh, no, yeah, everything's under animation end because of the timing sequence. Right. I really should have worked on this Tuesday, but I just was really wanting to play Pokemon on Tuesday. If I just do... I should be able to just, like, hijack this. Right. Rather than waiting for it to come up naturally. Okay. Expecting a number. Oh, this... Yeah, this is probably not optimal. Because these now have different types. We can't really, hard code that. Okay. Serrated teeth. Hmm. What were we? Which two? There should be two that are bugged here. Um, it should be serrated teeth. Okay, so this has serrated teeth in the genome. On gene 5, which is probably level 2. No. Because level 2 is still an attack, level 3 is passives. Health spec weaken resistant extended horns. I forget which gene. Health spec extended horns. Rend. Oh, they go like this. Probably the next passive level then. Yeah, I forgot the syntax there for when those trigger. Okay, serrated teeth shows up correctly. Wait a second. Wait, what? Implemented, but why the extra brackets? It's double nested on the base and the scale. I didn't fix this, did I? Did I fix this? Okay, let's do... Huh. I don't know if this has a bite attack. It's got snap. I don't know if we'll ever use that. 20 hide serrated teeth osteoderms. Is that right? Serrated teeth, exactly that. Passive dictionary, serrated teeth, yes. I might legitimately have to watch back my last stream if this, like, doesn't actually break. Okay, there we go, there we go. It did break. Okay, so interesting that it seems to... Oh, wait. The chance... Why did that... Okay, well, I mean, we can reconfirm the behavior. I'm just trying to think about why that wouldn't have triggered until so late in the battle, but maybe it's passing the percent chance check correctly. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let's configure this. to make sure we're gonna Thorny Hide is the thing we need to make sure happens. Thorny Hide should trigger a bleed. If we get rid of Fishhook here, now the Baryonyx won't be able to set a bleed in any other way. We can rely on hitting it with Thorny Hide to trigger the bleed and verify that that works. That'll make it a little clearer, at least when this is functioning, that it's functioning. Because right now we can verify that it crashes, but the crash doesn't seem to be consistent. All right, so the problem is the script. Under parse passives. Okay, so argument 0 is not an array. Yes, that is precisely the thing. That's under Chansey. So this makes it all the way to here. This is where the crash is. What will the game be about and what's the roster? It is a kind of a riff on the Monster Rancher game formula. You will be raising dinosaurs to fight in tournaments with a whole system about like a very elaborate genetic system to make breeding dinosaurs very involved, and some like gene modification systems. As far as for the roster right now is not fully planned. I'm working on just a vertical slice, which is going to be like one fixed tournament. So there'll be an initial roster of 5 or 7 animals, depending on how many I decide to put in for the vertical slice. Right now, it's just Carnotaurus and Baryonyx. I have some drafts for like a full roster or most of a full roster, but I'm not fully settled on exactly who gets in. The game will be divided into 2 weight classes, so there'll be a lightweight and a heavyweight class, so you can focus on raising like lighter, smaller animals like dromaeosaurs and things like that, or you can focus on some larger animals like the large theropods, which are in the vertical slice here that we're working on. All right, so this is where our bug is. And it's an indexing issue because we removed the double nested array because that was dumb. So we need to parse exactly what is going on in this absolutely grotesque function we wrote like a month ago. Yeah. I remember writing this last week. Plateosaurus, yeah, prosauropods are in essentially as like the lightweight equivalent of sauropods. At least that's what I was kind of thinking. Although Plateosaurus is a larger, member of that group, so it's probably not actually a lightweight animal for our purposes. But yeah, I mean it's a fairly likely animal to get into the roster. So we're iterating through the passes of the attackers. Very simple. So I corresponds here specifically to which passive. You know what? Let's get a note sheet. Let's get a note sheet. Let's really think this through and get this really cleaned up here. Can I find the perfect bill or something to write on? Perfect. Insurance documents. Lovely. All right. So when we're finding the chance for the passive to trigger, we're going through the passive name. We're finding the base value. Wait, why are we using I here? Oh yeah, no, I definitely want some dark horse picks, 100%. Part of what I'm thinking about doing is kind of doing like kind of a second tier in terms of popularity roster for like the starting animals, and then having the really popular big name animals be things you unlock and discover, and also having a set of like more obscure but like physically interesting animals that are also unlocked. So you're starting with kind of, the B tier in popularity is the starting animals and unlocking like the A and C, but the C tier animals in terms of popularity will be things that are uh have their own like, special things that sell them a little bit. Like Spicomelis is a great example. A very popular animal in the paleo community these days, but like for a more casual person, they're not going to have any idea what a Spicomelis is. Um and also just some animals that I like a lot will have prominence in the game, like Herrerasaurus. Okay, so I'm pulling from the passive master the name and the base. The rank and the scale. Now, rank presumably is 1, 2, or 3 here, right? Past name 3, 1. Yeah, so this is the current skill or rank of the passive. An integer from 1 to 3. Which modulates the scale. But not the base. Does that make any sense? Okay, let's double check the syntax on the passive master dictionary. So we got the name, we got the base. Then I0. Wait, I'm double using eyes. Oh, this is disgustingly bad code. Holy shit. Wait, I use I here, and I here. This is terrible. This is like hideous. Hey Zavir, how's it going? Yeah, I don't remember if Dryo was like on my short list or not for like starting animals, but it's kind of emblematic of what I'm thinking. So, um, okay, I this code might be completely junk. This like might not even be functioning actually. This is also double nested fours with eyes. This is really bad code. Yeah, I've got I've got Game Awards updates open in my browser that I'm gonna check every now and then because I also am a Half-Life 3 believer. I don't think Half-Life 3 is being announced today though, but God, I need Half-Life 3. It's been too long. Half-Life 2 is literally the game that got me into PC gaming, so like I've been waiting for forever, it feels like. Will this be a Steam game? That is the intent, yes. If we get this game past, the finish line, yeah. Well, I mean, not even past the finish line. If we get this game to like, a beta state, essentially, we can do like early access. That's kind of the idea. But we got a ways to go, especially in the art department. Um, all right, so here's what we got to do. We got to start at the start of this function. We just got to fix this. And we got to see if this does anything at all. Because this, I have a feeling this code is just junk. because of the fact that we're indexing 3 times over the same value. Like, maybe Game Maker can account for that, but certainly if we're trying to use an I anywhere in a later spot, it's just not going to work. All right. First thing I want to do, though, is I do want to think about this. If modded stats is an effect, do added effect, need to check for the chance to trigger. So we're splitting. So yeah, if we have multiple triggers, then we have and. Then we pick out a particular an effect. So the idea here so this I is probably this I was the intent. Yeah, there would be a demo too, absolutely. You gotta go. All right, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you later, Henry. So this I is like, this is always going to be a 0. So this is name base 0, 0, which is why we have this double nested on the array to make this work. If we look at the passives dictionary, if this was a double array, 0, 0 would be pulling the first thing. I guess the other consideration is that hard-coded 0 but I think that's what the idea here was, the on attack effect corresponded to chance. This is pretty bad. I mean, the notes next would even say that. Scuffed. God, I don't want to play with this function. I really made some garbage here. Holy cow. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. We're feeding into this attacker stats, defender stats, attacker dam, defender def, attacker accuracy, defender evasion, name 2, and attacker. Okay, then the notes next to this say name 2 is the attack name. Great. Why is it not just attack name? I don't know. We'll leave it alone for now. Then we've got this moddat data structure. This is, I think, returning all the changes coming out of the passives here, I think is the idea. You're here because you refuse to watch the Game Awards? Fair. I'm not going to watch them either. I just want to know if by some happenstance Half-Life 3 does get announced. That's all I care about. I don't care about, I think, anything else happening in there at this point. Any other games I am anticipating that are upcoming releases, I'm anticipating in such a way that I don't need to know immediately if anything is revealed. Half-Life 3 is the only one that I will, set everything aside and immediately go watch reveal info for. Right. We need to annotate a bunch of this because it is just the worst. So this is presumably returning changes to attack stats as a result of passives. Survival's on there. See, survival's about the second closest one I would get to. For reveals, but I don't know. Survival's like I need to see some real stuff from survival to get excited again about it. Because it's been so long since it was announced and we've seen so little of the actual game. I just have no strong sense of like anticipation. Let's check the Jurassic Park Reddit. Oh, there's nothing on there if it was just revealed. They're finally adding Scalies to Monster Hunter Wilds. Well, okay. All right, so we're iterating through I here. So this is I corresponds to the index of each passive on the attacker. So we get the name of the passive, we split it up so we can get the rank. This is 1, 2, or 3 for passive tier rank, whatever. And this is actually just the name. Like, if JP Survival was everything I would hope that it is, it would be near the top of my list too. The problem I have with Survival is I don't really feel like it's going to meet... Like, I don't think it's going to do what I want it to do. It hasn't shown me enough for me to believe in it yet. So that's the thing holding me back. Also, seeing a bunch of Jurassic World designs in the park era rubs me the wrong way. It's, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. You can make a strong argument that a lot of the world era designs are like, they're not variants of the park era creatures, they're retcons of their designs potentially. So in some sense, if you did, you know, a remake or you return to the classic Jurassic Park era, well, maybe using the world designs is actually technically accurate, right? But I still don't like it. I can acknowledge the argument, but still be on the other side of it. It just makes me concerned for, like, you know, accuracy and stuff, logic to the world. Like, I hope the game is a 10 out of 10 banger. I just can't get hyped until I get more reason to believe it might be that. So now we're pulling the effect here. So let's go grab an example of the effect. So if we're pulling Serrated Teeth's effect, it is this string. This long ass garbage tier string. So this is what this looks like. Welcome back. That was a very short BRB. You didn't even need to tell me you left. I wouldn't have known. Then we split it by the commas, so it becomes all these separate indexes. If 0 is on attack, self-explanatory, then we do a sit rep, check passive application situation returning 0 or 1. So that is taking this always, passing that to this check, and since it's always active, it just works. Like, it just applies. So that's fine. Then valid is looking at the subtype. So this is specifically, if this is a byte, then it will apply this effect. So it has to pass both of these logic checks to continue. So far, this is very reasonable. So far. update values here. So split info 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is an effect. Do we have an example of where this is not just like an effect? Okay, here. This is, okay, I see what I'm doing here. I get it. Updating the values. Okay, so let's make this not i's. This will now be j. Because we should not reuse I internally like this, because that's going to get fucking weird. This probably only worked ever because we had like one passive. And at the moment we had two, I bet you this gets all kinds of fucked because the I's are incrementing 3 times in different spots. Alright, so J. This is coming out of here where we split by and. So this is saying, so J corresponds to index of modified stat question mark. Let's go to the passive dictionary and see this is 3, so the 4th entry. Okay, so this is like here, modifies damage, modifies DR, modifies damage. Okay. And do I ever do an and? Yes, we do have like damage and crit. Okay. Okay, okay. Sure. JP Survival was announced at the Game Awards 2 goddamn years ago. That's crazy. That's we're not to like Elder Scrolls levels of like announced too soon, but it feels like it's getting there. We've gotten so little since that first trailer. Okay. So anything that's not a fact is assumed to be a stat. This should now be J. Should this be J? Yes. P plus J. So P attack, for instance. N equals stat gain. Global passive pass name, attacker stats, colon name, rank, mod stats. I and I. Presumably J's. So I think this is meant to parse pass name. We give it the passive, we give it the attacker's stats. Oh yeah, because this can be like flat or percentage based, right? And then this is incrementing by the returned value, which allows it to keep incrementing. If you don't come to the stream after Christmas because you didn't get the Utah Raptor, fair. Let's see this one. Let's look this up. Cyberzoic Utah Raptor. I don't remember if I've seen this one. Kind of a bald eagle vibe. Yeah, I don't think I've seen this one before. It's very good though. What is the difference between... Oh, Oh, it like comes with the armor. Oh, that's kind of sick. That is like big Dino Riders energy. I can appreciate the fuck out of that. I see now. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let's do a little comment. This function parses the bonuses for us because they are sometimes flat. We missed a T. Flat and sometimes percent. So this all looks good. We have a debug message here. We might as well suppress this. I think this would have worked in general. Maybe we should keep this debug here. We'll know what that is if it shows it, because it'll be this whole data structure. This should be pretty clear. Wait, this is modded stats. Yeah, let's just show mod dat. That's probably better. You gonna go now? All right. Yep. Catch you later. Thanks for popping by. Yeah, it's totally fair to prioritize what games you want, Rugaps. And I think if you're not somebody who feels a pressing need to hit up a GWE game right away, waiting is just a good idea. The longer you wait, the better state the game will probably be in. And the better deals you can find too, on top of that. Alright, so this is fine. Double checking the indexes to make sure we're properly feeding J's. Yeah. Should this be a J? Because if I'm already feeding it this, why am I feeding it this? I is the particular passive index. I don't... Pass name, modded stats. Let's look at this function stat gain here. Let's make sure this is correct before we leave it alone. Stat I index. Nval equals passive dot base I index. Passive dot scale I index. So this is okay. This is the interior. This is which part in the list it is. The base and the scale. That should be. Should that even be either of those indexes? Wait. Oh, because that's down there. Holy fuck. Okay. God damn it. You found a very cursed game. Is it my game? Because this shit I'm looking at right now is pretty fucking cursed. Let's put a comment here. The above function's final variable is an index passed for use with placement in the base scale array. Is that J? So J, if this, so okay, so if this says blah blah blah, blah blah blah, dam and accuracy, right? That's J equals 0 and J equals 1. And then if we use these J's, for this, here, we're doing nval equals base J plus scale J times rank. And these are coming out of passive, which is coming from here. And then we have the class. That, yeah, that sounds vaguely familiar to me for some reason, the game you're describing there, Rugops. And yes, that does sound fairly cursed. Maybe problematic depending on what direction it goes. Okay, so if I'm in the passives dictionary and I'm looking at a passive, right? Let's look at buff, opponent bleed, accuracy, defense, damage, and evasion. This, I don't even think this syntax is coded in, which makes sense because this doesn't actually function. This is not implemented. But this should scale these by the same amount. Right, scaling is scaling specifically per rank, yes. So that is correct. Here. On a buff, so there's a buff because you got hit and increases your defense. This is the amount it increases the defense. This is the amount of gain. This syntax should basically work. Okay, here is where this fails, right? This is saying damage and crit and pulling 0 and 1, but there are 3 numbers. So this doesn't work. This is definitely bad here. Does it work with everything we've implemented? Yes, because this is one index. Yes, because this is one index. Yes, because this is one index. And this is where it gets complicated. This is under an effect, so this is working differently. You're one away from making every possible baby, and for that, you need a witch to mate with a dog. Well, that sounds family friendly. So the assumption the code is making is that it gets to the end, and it's assuming that these are always this, which is not correct. I mean, it's correct currently because of how few of these are implemented. But if this was on attack, chance to bleed. Okay, I'm seeing some other. See, here's the problem. This is on attack, always horn bonus damage. So if you're on attacking, always apply to specifically horn attacks bonus damage. This has an always here, but a chance. This is like wrong as well. So not only is the syntax broken, I'm pretty sure this isn't even correctly implemented, even ignoring the syntax problem. I think we might need to go a little bit further back on this. I don't even know if fixing what we have is even that good. I did confirm these work though. All right, I'll be right back. How do we implement this in a way that doesn't suck ass? We could do it. There's potentially just some inherent logic to the ordering we could do. Let's make a note. So this is chance, and then the effect and the duration. This should really be chance or something. All right, let's do that. Let's go with that. Okay, so if it's this, check situation split info 1. Let's verify the check situation thing. If condition is always, logic is 1. Yeah. So this is oh, maybe we had always as a way to specifically bypass this. Weird. Gamers and their hot alien women, like peanut butter and chocolate. All right. If okay, so what do? I do okay, we probably have yeah, so we have this chance thing here, right? Chancy. This is getting the chance to trigger. This can be moved. This can all be embedded. Let's think about this. Let's go back. Let's look at all our passives. Is the first check, if there is a value number, do we think it's always going to correspond to chance? If there is a chance. Maybe the syntax for always and chance is not the thing. Maybe there should always be a number which is like corresponding to the chance of occurrence. It would probably be better to just code in an ability to have 100% chance of triggering than to code in word-based logic for whether or not it always triggers. Now, what if we had something that did both damage and applied a bleed effect, for instance? How would we handle that? We would have chance, we would have the value of the bleed effect, the value of the damage, the duration of the bleed effect. What the ordering would matter. Huh. Does it work like in Pokemon in what sense? Maybe we just need to split these up more. Rather than have all the numbers just put arbitrarily into an array. Yeah, you have to hit for a secondary effect to even have a chance of triggering. Um, Generally speaking, I mean, it should be. I don't remember explicitly if some of the moves had automatic effects, but I mean, it kind of works both ways in Pokemon too, depending on the type of effect. You're at the Azores, Cryo. Congratulations. If I have a chance, the effects. Okay, so let's think about this. The effects would be like numeric adjustments or like status effects, essentially. Even internally, if something isn't genuinely a status effect, it probably functions like a status effect. None of them were hard to 5-star. The 5-starring was all kind of a formality, especially in the campaign. It's just kind of an opportunity for you to do whatever you felt like doing while you got there. You didn't really have to think about it. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe we do this. Maybe we do chance base and chance scale. So we do like 100% chance of this effect triggering would then be this, and this would always be a thing. And then we don't need. Well, the conditional can stay because this is like now special conditions. Like, are you injured? Are you at full health? Something like that. And then we handle the logic for checking the chance base and scale in here. Yeah. Okay. And so we keep this at 100 as a formality. That's probably not bad. This requires me to rewrite all the text for displaying the effects, which I don't love. And does complicate it more. I don't know if I want to do this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm being lazy or if this is genuinely not that important. Add Segi source or you're unsubscribing to the game. Segi's a little too small for what I'm planning here. Also not at the part where we're adding anything currently. I do wish Segi would get added back to JWE 3. What was my favorite map in the campaign? Honestly, I don't remember. Japan was visually very nice. It might be Japan. In terms of gameplay, I don't know. Okay. I think I'm going to keep it this way because this makes parsing the text for the player easier. If I keep all the numbers together. So what I would need is I need functionally a way to know index 0 is the chance when I have a chance. So let's look at the function again. So if we do it that way, no, I didn't see Gaming Beaver's blueprint because I don't pay any attention to Gaming Beaver's content. I don't really pay any attention to anybody's content, but it's a matter of whether or not it comes up with my suggestions usually. Am I excited to add Aqualops to my park? I'm not opposed to it. I think a variety of small herbivores is nice for park building, contrary to what some people in the community feel like. But I'm not like overly excited for it. Honestly, as far as it goes for things from Rebirth, the T-Rex design is probably my favorite new thing. I'm a big enjoyer of the Rebirth T-Rex. But Aqualops is one of the better designs overall from that movie, I think. Actually, is it the best new animal in that movie? It might be. Like new addition to the franchise species wise. I think it might be. Okay, so now we're so this is already embedded into the stat modification part here. How do I make this consistent and work for everything? Okay, so the problem here fundamentally is this. If I have an ability that says 50% chance of plus stat versus an ability that says 100% plus stat, one of those has a chance number and one of those doesn't because the 100% is currently coded to not be automatic. What competition is there? Wait, what are we? Competition. Where's this coming from? This J, like if I pull this J for a single stat from something with a percent chance, this is the chance, not the value. Yeah, a Jurassic World rebuild is probably in the cards at some point for JW3. Like, it's a pretty safe assumption that we'll do, you know, building Jurassic Park in JW3, building Jurassic World in JW3, Biosyn Valley, stuff like that. Like the kind of the staple parks and pseudo parks of the franchise. The big thing is like, um, the timing. Like, why are we doing it at the time we do it, right? So I think for like Jurassic World to do like a Jurassic World rebuild, I think I would be that would be something I would do maybe if we got some like obscure Jurassic World tie-in species, like if we got Teratophonius and Ptilorpleiades in a DLC or something, then I would definitely do a Jurassic World build to like incorporate those two new animals, um, stuff like that. Oh, what competition is there for the Rebirth DLC animals? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that's the unspoken thing there. When it comes to the new species Rebirth added, like it's they're either like garbage mutants, um, glorified cameos, or like things that are essentially mutants, and then there's just like Aqualops. Because like Titanosaurus and Indorognathus are both essentially mutants because they're like their designs are such a stretch. Fuck, how do I do this without like gutting this all and starting over? I can add a flag. That might be the way to do it. Okay, okay, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, we had a flag, right? So this is checking the situation. If I make sitrep now handle the code for whether or not a no the ability with a chance has triggered. Split info one. Yeah, because this is currently all this does is take in always and always return a value. Yeah, the Tarbo thing was mostly like the roster was already pretty full, so I just decided not to incorporate it because its canonicity is somewhat debatable. Can we give Albertosaurus a minigun? No, but I've considered the possibility of an actual equipment system as well. This is one of those things that's like no, but maybe yes. A minigun is probably too much, but like something. So I think what we do. So let's look at this. So sit rep or split info rather. Split info is this the passive info being split at the comma. So if 0 is on attack, so we would have let's do this. So we do this. We do if split info 1 is absolutely chance, and then we need to implement a flag. Reindex flag plus equals 1. And then we initialize a reindex flag here for each individual passive. So reindex flag equals 0. Actually, let's just make it a reindex val. It's not a flag because it is a integer value we're counting up. So let's make a note. This integer tracks how many times we've adjusted the index value for, how do I phrase this? No, you're not wrong there, Holy. Like, my non-inclusion of Tarbosaurus was not intended to be a statement that I don't think um, Tarbosaurus is explicitly non-canon. It was more of a case of, because there was a possibility of it being non-canon, I just chose not to use it because I didn't want to. That was the intent there. It gave me an out to pick and choose a little bit on some of the species, and that was one of them, right? I just personally, did I want to include it in the park build or not? I guess we just call this passive numbers. So this here, so make another comment. We've slid the index by 1 because the first number could be a chance percent to trigger. Could or is. In this case, is a chance. This should always do it, but also it might kick us out anyway because the ability maybe doesn't trigger, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so reindex value is now 1 if it's a chance. Check passive application status, returns 0 or 1. Also handles chance to trigger. Because we can embed this logic here, and we might as well do it. So, check situation is being fed split info 1, which is going to be like always or chance. So what I should also feed it is the rank and the passive name. Yeah. Pass name 1 and rank. Let's go to this. So this is how we coded up our chance before, our ability chance. This will also clean up this code because now we're embedding this in a separate function and just getting it out of the way of parsing the larger function, which is good. Sorry, this is the wrong spot. This goes up here. Okay, so logic 0 of condition is always, logic is 1. Adding the next condition check. If condition is chance, and we're taking in a name and a rank for the passive. So p name, p rank. Also, this is completely incidental, but Edmontosaurus arguably was physically present in Lost World. Because one of the skulls in the Rex nest was intended to be an Anatotitan, which is now Edmontosaurus. Very, very, very loose argument for Edmontosaurus' canonicity. Like, I am also very much comfortable with the idea that Edmontosaurus could be considered non-canon because there's no actual in-film evidence for, like, non-canon in Jurassic World because there's no actual on-screen evidence identifying that as being an animal in Jurassic World. It's only marketing material that establishes it there. And I guess by the same logic, right? Like for a thing on Isla Sorna that's a skull, like nothing on screen identifies that skull as a particular species. So it doesn't really matter what they intended it to be. You still can't identify a particular animal. What's my headcanon with Nasudo? Yeah, I take Nasudo to be an Isla Nublar Jurassic World species, but I am not very married to that idea. I think the time frame of Battle at Big Rock doesn't really mesh well for me with it being a Biosyn animal. So my least favorite explanation is the Biosyn one. Um, Usually, like when I did my Jurassic World rosters, I'm basing like the 14 herbivore thing off the line from the first movie. And if you count out like on-screen herbivores, you just have a gap to like chuck Nasudo in if you ignore Sinoceratops, if you consider it to be like a Camp Cretaceous species, which is what I do because of a line in like season one Camp Cretaceous. But you could do the opposite. You could include Sinoceratops as one of those 14, and then just say the Pseudoceratops was a Biosyn species or cloned by somebody else or came from Sorna or whatever you want. Like if I was actually picking like what I think the Jurassic World species list is supposed to be within Jurassic World itself, just that movie, I think it's the Holoscape roster actually is the canon one. But I think that's been retconned by the sequels, so I don't think that counts anymore. Because the Holoscape has exactly 14 herbivores on it. All right, so for the chance, we're taking this. So I guess, yeah, we just do. We'll just copy this, we'll put it in here. Then we need to retool this. So this is P name. We get the base. This is assumed to always be index 0 for the base. Where would the Spinosaurus have gone? Which in what context? Like the Sorna spine? Wait, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Yeah, we should be able to just kill the indexes. We're assuming now that this is always the first index. So this should work. Base 0, we take this should be the P rank. That's what we called it here for whatever reason in the P name. Where would the Spinosaurus have gone in Jurassic World? Well, I don't think it was there, right? So nowhere? Oh, was it on the Holoscape? Is that what you're saying? It might have been. Because I think the Holoscape does have too many carnivores, but the movie itself and the marketing material all but explicitly tells you that it's 6 displayed plus additional carnivores that are being held back because the raptors are not on display explicitly, and Indominus Rex isn't counted. Yeah, Spinosaurus is on the Holoscape. So yeah, I always take when I headcanon the Holoscape species list, I think Spinosaurus is just like either Spinosaurus is in the backlot somewhere, or it's included on the Holoscape as an animal that like the public knows about from like the events of Jurassic Park 3, right? Grant went back to the mainland, he talked about the Spinosaurus, and then it's like thrown up on the Holoscape because of that, maybe. But yeah, I definitely don't think it'd be on display. Do you see them like you see them on maps in the universe, yes. But those maps are always marketing material, not on screen, right? That's what I'm saying. Is like you can make an argument um, that anything not on screen doesn't count for canonicity. If you want to be like an ultra purist, it has to be visibly on screen. This is an argument you can make to chuck out like Stegosaurus and Herrerasaurus from Jurassic Park, because the only animals that are actually named on screen are the ones you can visibly see in the DNA stealing scene, Metriacanthosaurus and Proceratosaurus. So if you like take only on-screen evidence as canonicity, like there's only 10 animals that are identified in the movie Jurassic Park. Then if you use the brochure, you get 2 more animals. But the brochure, while it is in the movie, can't be seen clearly in the movie. That's all I'm saying. Is like, depending on the level of strictness you want to apply, you can kind of do a lot with how you handle the rosters. All right, let's check the Game Awards announcements. Let's see. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. What is this? Hold on. I'm not going to watch the video, but listen, I was a big KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2 enjoyer, and I spent a fair amount of time playing even the Old Republic, the MMO, so I need to at least know what this is about. If this video autoplays, I'm going to be really annoyed. Okay, we're good. Fate of the Old Republic is a new epic narrative single-player action role-playing game. Okay. Director of the original KOTOR and the Mass Effect trilogy. Okay. Okay. I'm sure this announcement trailer is just fucking CGI footage. Like, I don't really actually give a shit. I want gameplay. I am so completely and utterly done with like CGI announcement trailers for video games. I could not give less of a shit about watching some glorified cutscene to announce a game. I want gameplay. I want to see what the actual goddamn game is like. Not a direct sequel or continuation. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. That's fine. I did know there was like more Old Republic shit in development. That I did see that being talked about. I didn't really expect to see it announced here, so it's interesting. But I'll care more when I actually see something from the game. The action role-playing thing makes me a little eh. Whenever I hear action role-playing game, I get a little uppity about how much of the game is actually action and how much of the game is actually role-play, because I do like some narrative in my game. If I'm playing something that's RPG adjacent, it should just be an RPG. Like, if I play this game, I'm playing it because of the RPG, not because of the action game. What if it's the CGI is the first cutscene? I don't care. I don't want to see narrative elements of the game that I'm figuring out if I'm interested. I want to see gameplay elements, and I want the narrative elements and the cutscenes to be something I can experience when I'm going through the game, as opposed to having them spoon-fed to me ahead of time, even if it is just the first cutscene. Like, an opening cutscene can really set the tone of an experience. And so it's nice for the first time you experience that cutscene to be when you're actually starting the game out. They were on the film in Main Street. Okay, the maps. I haven't rewatched Jurassic World in a while, so I'm not surprised I would be wrong. Please don't let a gotcha win the Player's Choice Award. Yeah. Yeah, we're still early in development. That's how this article ends too. That's another thing I'm sick to death about, is games announcing like the game is the second they enter development, basically. Like, the fact that it's been like, I'm not even a big Elder Scrolls enjoyer. Like, I've never beaten a single Elder Scrolls game in my life, but I have put some time into them. And the fact that like Elder Scrolls 6 was announced like what, like 8 years ago or something is insane. That's crazy. That's nuts. I think even the 2-year announcement window for Jurassic Park Survival is crazy. There's nothing worse than having a game be announced, hear nothing about it for 2 years, then get spoon fed a little shit bit of stuff just here and there, and then have the game be canceled. Like, awful. Announce games when they're actually like gonna get finished. There's nothing hyper to me than when they like, here's the trailer for our game and it's out in 6 months. It's coming out. It's gonna be done. That's great. Because then you have this whole hype release window, and it's not like this trickle of slow information that takes 2 years to come out, and you stop caring. Like, all right, back to the game. Is Gallimimus jockey a chicken jockey joke? Okay, so this gets us the chance of the thing triggering. This is how we generate a random dice roll. So we roll a dice. There. And then we had the check. If dice less than chancy specifically is what we did. Attack effect logic. What is... moddat.attack effect logic. The effect of the scale and the duration. Which are pulled to here. Okay, right. Yeah, that makes some sense but needs to be rewritten. So this goes here. If this, and then we just update the logic check to 1. Boom. And if the dice, so if the dice is less than the chance, so this will be like 10, right? And we roll 0 through 9, so 10% chance because it's less, then the logic is passed to 1, and the effect triggers. That should be good. Yeah, I agree with you, Holly. Sorry. Holy quack entirely, that I would have preferred to have seen animals that were already established as being in a universe in Camp Cretaceous over introducing new animals. Metri and Mono would have been way better includes over Arano and Mono. 100%. I may be a little less like my griping about release windows, I think is a little I'm a little more generous about like early announcements for things that are in established franchises where the developers have shown that they could put these things out in a reasonable time span multiple times. Like I think that's okay, but it's like these like new games. It's like here's the first time we've done this and we're announcing it this much at a time. And like 2 years for like an established franchise title maybe is fine, but like the Elder Scrolls window is still insane. Or just don't acknowledge those species being extinct. Like, as I understand it, the extinction thing is not even really confirmed per se. Like there's I'm pretty sure the marketing people for Fallen Kingdom backtracked on that or something. I think they backtracked on the Fallen Kingdom marketing material actually being a realistic count of every animal in the franchise, like in terms of the individual species. And I think they backtracked on whether or not the red names were extinct. I think they just backtracked it onto like being like harmed in some way or something like that, subject to cruelty. But it's been a little while since I've checked into that. A lot of that information is just on like Twitter accounts, which is just awful. I don't think information about franchise canonicity should be handled in a goddamn tweet. that is that is just trash. Okay, so now this is checking whether or not the effect has triggered. So this check here doesn't matter. So we can suppress this. Which includes suppressing this and unindenting all of this. So that's a tab out. Yeah, okay. So let's go back through this. Let's pass logic check. Including trigger chance. Okay. And then we have this bit here with the J's now. And now we want to do J plus reindex value. So if we reindexed, we need to increment these J's. Right? Wait, does this one re-increment? How would I like to see the American line in JW3? I think we should not have any Cenozoics in JW3 except for the ones that have been established by the franchise elsewhere. I think we should only get Smilodon at this point. I don't even like having Megalodon in the game, honestly. I'm not gonna like write an editorial article about why I think it's bad, but if asked my opinion, that's my opinion. It's the same reason I don't like hybrids and stuff is because like we get a limited roster. You know, a DLC comes out with like 4 animals or 3 animals in it or whatever now. And like I don't want those slots taken up by mammals or hybrids. I want dinosaurs or pterosaurs, less so aquatics. Like very much less so aquatics. Smilodon would be very alone, but it would also make it pretty unique. So here's my compromise. My Smilodon compromise, we can have a single species pack of mammals. One single one time mammal DLC with 3 or 4 mammals, and that's it. And we never do it again. We could do like a Smilodon, a Mastodon, or a Mammoth, a Sloth, and I don't know, a Glyptodon or something. Call it a day. That's all we need. Like, I don't like how much of the Prehistoric Kingdom roster is mammals. That's like a point against that game in my mind. I would be vastly more okay with us going the other direction and getting some like Paleozoics, getting some other early pre-dinosaur reptiles and crocodiliforms and stuff. I'm way more open to that. In part because like Jurassic Park merchandise was introducing things like Tanystropheus and Lysonops in like 1993. So we've had Paleozoics in the franchise for a lot longer than we've had Cenozoics. I mean, Meganeura's in the novel too, so it's kind of established. Okay, do we reindex this? If modded stats J does not equal effect. No, this one should stay. Yes, because the reindexing is only used for the numbers. So this is not reindexed. I don't want any Gen 2 type stuff in JWE3. I'm going to go with a hard no on that one. Doubly so if you're explicitly crossing over with a Ludia game. As somebody who spent a lot of time playing Jurassic World Alive, at this point I want nothing to do with Ludia ever again. Awful dev. Terrible. Okay, so modded stats J and this J. This is past the stat gain. So this should be the incremented J, I think. This is the only place we put the reindexing in, I think. So if this is reindexed and we go to stat gain, this is now If this had a conditional trigger, this value would now be 1 instead of 2, and then it would go through, check the rank and scale, and find the correct index. This is correct. Yeah, Ludia is awful. Jurassic World Alive legitimately was a great game when it came out, and just every update made that game worse. It's so disappointing. I had like that game legitimately improved my quality of life because it got me outdoors exercising. And then they just ruined it. Not even one time, they like just continuously ruined it more and more over and over again. And it took me so long to separate from it too. Because I just kept this, I was on hopium. I kept hoping the game would return to the form that it was originally at when it was good. When it was good and not overly monetized and like not overly like obtuse too. Thankfully, when they added that awful, awful, awful raid system in 2.0, that was the thing that got me to finally quit that game altogether. Because, like, being obligated to do these horrendous, like, really long, buggy raids to make progression every week, like, every day of every fucking week, over and over again for eternity, like, absolutely killed that game for me. If I wanted to do raids, I'd play Pokemon Go. Fuck that. Okay, so this reindexes correctly. This is returning the end value. That's still the same. So this is all good. Now, if it's an effect, this should be... Okay, so this is where we left off. So this is J. If effect J, and then we take the split info 4. This should still be fine. And now we want to iterate over K. Would I let half of the African elephant population die off permanently to see a living Titanosaurus? You know what? Probably. Because I'm a bit of a doomer when it comes to animal conservation. And I think a lot of endangered animals are not realistically savable because not enough of the human population is on the same page. And all you can do is slow the decline. So if I want to be a real piece of shit, I could trade a bunch of elephants just for a chance to see a dinosaur. I think I wouldn't actually do that because that's like that's a that's a little bit of like a trolley problem. Do you want to cause a bunch of death just for a relatively minor personal gain? Not really, but it is funny. I would really like to see a dinosaur though, especially a sauropod. To see like a living sauropod, like an adult sauropod, would just be crazy. Because never been anything else on the planet like a sauropod. Like a Tyrannosaurus is kind of just a really big chicken. If you really want to simplify shit. But a sauropod is like a whole different thing. Okay, so now this is splitting by and. So K is the index for each individual thing. Each individual, I guess, effect. Would you do it for a Mutodon? Absolutely not. Or would I would let half of the mutadons die to see a Titanosaurus. I would do that. Fuck the mutadons. Um Wait, we removed did we status here? Was this supposed to be here? Does this need to be a thing that we know about? I'm gonna assume not. Best way to survive a zombie apocalypse is start a garden. I mean, that sounds probably like the best way to survive most apocalypses. Grow your own food. Um, okay, I need to look at the passive dictionary for an example of this where I actually have an and effect. So this is an example. Damage and crit. Wait, is this relevant? No. Because this would be like a boost. That's the only place I have an and effect. Wait, why sunflowers and peas? Oh, you're making a Plants vs. Zombies joke. I get it. Right, right. Uh, okay, we can just leave the and there. We can always just never use that or move it. I would kill every mutadon given the chance. All right. Okay. Yeah. Screw it. This doesn't matter. So K is just going to be this. So if I want a passive, I want the base value and I want the kth index. Hold on, let's think about this. This should be okay. Let's actually make this work as if the and thing mattered. So K would be 0 or 1. Reindex is 0 or 1. We have a base and a scale. And a base and a scale. So how did we actually write this out? One day I might need to do a Plants vs. Zombies video to keep a roof over my head. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, damage and crit. Oh yeah, it just goes sequentially because these are separate things. Yeah, duh. So this should just be. Oh, this is duration though. Right. Okay, so if we have effect A equals, say, 10 for 5 seconds, and effect B equals 5 for 10 seconds, that's 4 numbers. We would put this in the data structure under... I think we would just do those sequentially. Yeah, like the order they'd be written out. So if we wrote it out, we would write it out like effect A for 5, apply bleed 10 for 5 seconds, apply stun 5 for 10 seconds. It would be written like that. So we would want those to go in that order. So the scale for one of these individually would be the kth index for the 0th ability, but plus the reindex value. So if we've reindexed, this should be 1. And the duration should be plus 1. So that should be this. And then if it's 1, so if I'm on 1, then I'm on the second ability. Yeah, which doesn't work here. Okay, wait, I gotta draw myself a picture. It would be so the array would look like chance, effect 1, duration 1, effect 2, duration 2. I think genetic archiving is the important thing to do. Like for certain species, keeping them alive in the wild is probably essentially impossible long term. Between just human indifference and climate change, it's just not going to work. So making sure that you can archive a broad um, set of genomes for those animals so that they could be brought back during a better time is probably the way to go in my mind. What do you call a Hypsilophodon stuffed inside an Ostroraptor, stuffed inside an Irritator, stuffed inside a Dinosaur? The Wetlands DLC? Let's see. If it was a turducken, you'd start with the biggest and go to the smallest. So it'd be Dino Ostro Odon. I don't know. Share that. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. For indexing, then we have k equals 0 and 1. This becomes 1 and 2. So we find 1 and 1 plus 1, and then we want to find 3 and 3 plus 1. Can I just do L equals 2k plus 1? Does that always work? No. Or minus 1. Minus 1. Wait, that does work, right? No. Well, the easiest way to do it would be to do it to just pass to do the loopless. Would it taste fishy? No, it tastes chickeny. Those are all birds you put inside that thing. Estimated mutant population of 17 to 30. I mean, if your population is that low, you're probably going to die out anyway. Also, mutodons are completely nonsensical animals, so would Dinosaurus taste good? I honestly have no idea. Probably. It's like a big chicken cow. It'd be like beef and chicken. It'd be delicious, maybe. It's usually meat eaters that taste bad, right? Herbivorous animals are generally tasty because evolution works that way. They want, the things that eat meat want the plant eaters to be tasty, right? So I would assume Dinocaris would be pretty tasty. Okay, so I need to look up for loops in Game Maker. Because I need to know if make sure the indexing works the way I think it does. Yeah, it should. Oh, interesting. Wait, the way I'm doing my indexing thing is different than this, which is interesting. I plus equals 1. I can just do it like this. Oh, can I though? No, because if there's two effects, Dinocaris ate its own feces. We don't know that. Is Giganoraptor coming back in GW3 and Tarbosaurus? We don't know. I think Giganoraptor is a pretty likely one to come back. Yeah, and Titan was a pretty good name. I agree. Yeah, this doesn't work. Hmm. How do I want to set this up? Wait, no, the wait, this should be easy. Yeah, I'm thinking about it backwards. Oh yeah, it's just simply um let's do it like this. We'll call this L. Yeah, I was overthinking it because I was thinking about the reindex value in the wrong spot. All you do is you just double the index, and then you're counting every second thing. Um, Effects are or rag organized by um, scale, comma, duration. So if there are two, it goes scale dir. So just double index and increment by 1 if there was a chance check. Swerve leaked it on 4chan. Reliable source. I would enjoy Nano Tyrannus. I think that'd be pretty sick. It's a great opportunity to have a DLC that ties into like current, big news in paleontology. I think that would be fun. Like literally just do like a paleontological news DLC. Just put in like Spicomelis, Ninotyrannus, some other stuff. Whatever else is currently in the news that isn't already in the game. Or even just like animals like Borealopelta that we have a lot of good paleontological information about that haven't made into the game yet. Although Notosaurus in JWE is just Borealopelta. In all but name. Hey Biocraft, thanks for popping in. So, if we had a chance effect and we have 2 abilities, then L gets incremented by 1. So this would be 2 times 0 plus 1, starting at index value of 1. That is correct. Index value of 2 for the duration. That is correct. And then we loop back around. K is now 1. This is doubled to 2. We add 1 to 3. And that is correct. And then we go to 4. That works. That's perfect. All right. Yeah, Tyrannosaurs are pretty common in the game for sure. Tyrannosaurs and Dromaeosaurs are kind of, we have enough probably. But I would kind of make, like in my mind, I would make an exception for Nanotyrannus. Personally. But that would be like the last, well, Nanotyrannus and Tyrannophonius. Those would be like the two I would kind of make exceptions for. Yeah, we need a Abelisaurs. We need I would be down for the Abelisaur DLC. Give me just a nice 3-pack of like paleo accurate Abelisaurs at different size scales and geographic locations. Everybody should be an Abelisaur fanboy. Abelisaurs kick ass. Okay, so this should be right. We get the correct scale and the correct duration for the effects. Then we array push this, which I'm just going to assume is correct. And then this should all be fixed here. And then we've got this other loop, which is going through the defenders and doing the same shit. So this is just the inverse, essentially. But the checks are different on defend. So I guess we do the same thing here. All right. Actually, yeah, let's do it like this. Let's just I'm just gonna copy all this code. And we're just gonna dump this into a notepad document so that I can refer to it on a different part of the screen. Yeah, I would go a little harder overall on the theropods I'd like to see in the game beyond like an Elafrosaur and like Rugops or another Abelisaur. I would also like to see another Megaraptoran. I would like a feathered Megaraptoran, I think, to pair with Australovenator. And I wouldn't mind seeing like Neovenator or another Allosauroid. I think would be cool too. Yeah, I kind of wish we did have some animals that were free roaming ambient animals like in JPOG. I think that'd be fun. You could probably, I don't know if you could mod Jill to like be that way, like in two even. I feel like there was a mod that made um some non-threatening dinosaurs in GWE two. That might have been a thing. The problem I have with a like a adding a canid is it's just a canid. Already have seven allosaurs. Well, yeah, like if you're doing like the full boatload of like the Carcharodontosaurids. But I'm talking more of a, you know, basal Carnosaura. I mean, really, I'm just looking for an excuse to have like a more like a paleoaccurate Allosaurus, essentially, or another take on a paleoaccurate Allosaurus, if you will prefer. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over like that not getting into the game. You know what else I would take? I would take another Herrerasaurid, like Styracosaurus or something. Okay, let's do this code here. So I gotta move some things around. I'm at miss chat messages because I'm covering part of my screen up now. But okay, so we got, oh, this is hard to read, just dumped into the notepad. The for loop. Then we got the reindex val, which needs to be defined. Reindex val is 0. We got the name splits. The pass info stays the same. We got the split info. Split info 1 equals chance. Then we reindex, yes. Split info 0 on defend. Right, we need this. So this is pass name 1, comma rank. Sit rep, check situation, split info 1, pass name 1, rank. Valid doesn't change. If sit rep invalid, modded stats, split info 3 and indexing now over J. J, J, J. If modded stats index J, it does not equal effect. New string P modded stats J. N equals stat gain. Pass name 1. Passing J and J plus reindex val. So this is a J. J plus reindex val. Okay, check in chat. Would I want Allosaurus Maximus in GW3 or 4? Yeah, small Therisaurid or Therizinosaurid would be good. I mean, you're right about Metri. That kind of fits into that category too. Yeah, we probably do technically have enough like Allosaurs. Yeah, I don't think we need to do like Allosaurus Maximus or like any you know, different subspecies or whatever you want to call it for another existing animal we already have. I don't think we necessarily need to do that. I mean, you could do it as like another variant, right? You could have like a Maximus variant technically, but leave that to the modders. I'd rather get fresh animals completely than unless the existing version of the animal is like really shit, like Deinonychus or whatever. If they did that for like certain other animals, I'd be okay with it. But I don't think we really need to do that with Allosaurus. We already have two. Okay, so J plus reindex value is correct, right? Now we're done with that. The mod dat gets passed through there. This should be a J. String split 4 stays. Now we have a K. K. K less than array plus plus K. Effect equals F's K. We now suppress completely the Chansey and the dice. And check. And this. And this. And then we move all this inward. We'll keep that there. Scale. So now we do L equals 2 times K. And then we're doing pass name 1, scale L plus reindex for like everything. Wait, these ones didn't even have 2 tiers. Wait, what the fuck? This was different syntax altogether. Yeah, this was what we were doing for the other stuff. Why were these not like that? Crazy. Chansey is indeed one of the Pokemon of all time. This is maybe a bad habit I have of giving like cutesy variable names to things and like whatever random nonsense comes into my mind sometimes. I'm pretty sure some of my scientific code I wrote for NASA has variables in it that are just like fuck. Shit like that. Like in jokes and just like nonsense for internal variable names within the code. Which is a choice. But nobody's ever going to look at my archival code. It's just never going to happen. Like the archiving of my particular scientific code is just a formality. It's a good formality. Like it should be archived. But in a practical sense, nobody's ever going to check it. It makes the average red, blue, yellow game take 100 plus turns. Yeah, Blissey especially is just completely broken. A terrible Pokemon because of how good it is, right? L plus reindex value. Is that... Make sure these are all the same. L plus 3. Oh, yeah, plus 1 on these. So, yeah, we did miss a thing. Index value plus 1. Index value plus 1. Yes, I had a 2-year postdoctoral position at NASA. But technically, the code I'm talking about was before I worked at NASA. That was when I was at the university. I worked on a satellite mission, which was archived with NASA. So I handled like a bunch of the code that did the data processing and the data archival. And then that was handed off to NASA. Probably, I personally feel like that is one of my greatest achievements. And my time actually spent working for NASA was much less so. I'm surprised this hasn't come up in stream before when you're here. It's come up in stream a bunch of times, but maybe just not during GWE streams as much or something. L plus reindex plus 1. So that should be that. Rank times global passive. L, that looks right. Let's suppress all these show debug messages because there's just too many of these to keep track of what they're actually telling me at this point. Then just the array push. And theoretically, that's it. We return the mod dat at the end, and presumably everything should function. This was the part we need to fix and clean up, and we've done that. So let me clear out my notepad. Move the game maker stuff over to the side again. Oh, yeah. Gen 1 Chansey, because it would be, yeah, special defense didn't exist. Very valid point for Gen 1 Chansey. I always forget that. Like, I know that's a thing, but I don't think of it in the moment when it comes up in conversation, right? It's one of those things when somebody reminds you, like, oh, yeah, of course, duh. But you need to be reminded. All right, 9 o'clock. Okay, good. We should probably test all this now. So we modified the baryonics. So now it should always apply a bleed when we hit it, if this works correctly. Just for testing. So we're just gonna walk up and try to kick him a bunch. Okay, we hit. We did not take a bleed. Actually, did I implement that? Also, now that he doesn't have his bleed attack, he's like really beatable. Get his ass. Oh, I am losing again, though. No! Oh, we got a crash. In the passives. Okay, hold on. Interesting. Unknown variable not set. Scale equals global. Line 301 in parse passives. So maybe I didn't set the chance to be 100% here. Line 301 broke because a variable was not set before reading. And that would be L plus a reindex value, pass name scale, L plus reindex value, and rank. L equals 2 times K. K's exist. Reindex value. Reindex value equals 0. The rank, pass name 3. Wait, how would this not work? Oh, it's just a typo. It's just a typo. Red index value. Dude, that was so hard to see. Oh yeah, Blizzard was like super broken in Gen 1 too. Well, like broken in sense of like balance wise, not like yeah. Inconsistent, maybe. That's the better way to put it. The balancing on Blizzard was inconsistent with the rest of the game. Yeah, okay. It's only the one place I put the extra D in there. Let's check what I did. I removed the fishhook. Oh, I don't think I did make Thorny Hide guaranteed. Let's see here. I just did this where I removed the fishhook, I think. Yeah, okay. We'll just make it 100% chance. Okay. I will be right back and we'll test. All right. Also, game awards check. We got another Left 4 Dead um, successor for loop. I'm not gonna even look at it. Any Left 4 Dead successor is like a wait and see. The Forest 3? Or is this a different thing? Is this just... This is not The Forest, it's Forest 3. I think this is not The Forest. This is a different thing. Okay, anyway, game. Oh, the bleed worked! We're bleeding! Do I not have hover text up? That's not a thing I've done yet, huh? That should be a thing. Get away from me, nerd! Let's do it again. Yeah, the bleeding is ticking and everything. That's great. Okay, I think we fixed it all. Cool. Have I ever heard of Clicker Heroes? No. I don't think so. Oh, should I... Yeah, let's see what the mod dat looks like. PDR2. Okay. So the mod dat did have the correct things. So that's good. And let's give the Baryonyx back his fishhook. his iconic brutal bleed move. Okay. So here's what I want to do next. We should be able to finish our attacks. I went through and came up with effects for all of our missing attacks here. What the fuck are video games nowadays? Jesus Christ. All right. Hmm. Okay, so there's my effects for the attacks. Let's see. I guess we'll put this over here and minimize this a little bit. That should work. So these are maybe a little on the quick side. Okay. First one on the list is bite. Subtype should be, yeah, bite. Bite, subtype, bite. Should probably be changed. But we'll just leave bite as bite. That's fine. This is a high damage, a low accuracy move. Did I have a formula that I was using for the cost of these things? I don't really think I did. Let's do. I don't know. That'll work. All right. So bite. The idea with bite is this is high crit, low accuracy. So we'll do 50% accuracy with a damage value of 15 and a crit chance of 30%. Inaccurate, but has a high critical hit rate. Wait, is that how? Yeah. No condition. No effect. No scale, duration, or chance. Or move, or then the cost. So yeah, that's what I was looking at. So death roll costs 20. 25, 20. Probably cost about 20-ish. I need to do like a balance pass on this at some point, but I think for now we can just kind of leave well enough alone. Range 1. Put a drain, a bit of drain on this. Short cooldown. Maybe honestly like 5. Does the crit chance here make sense? Let's do a little math. Let's do a little back of the envelope math. If we have something of 50% accuracy, 30% crit rate for 15 damage, that means realistically, this crits 15% of the time. Ooh, is my crits coded that way? Hold on. Um, okay, so I roll crit chance separately than hit chance. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That doesn't not make it effectively 15% crit. That is effectively 30% crit. 30% of the things that pass the hit check will also pass the crit check. Because 30% of everything passes the crit check. Which means then yeah, so 50% of the time you do 0 damage. 50%, well, surprised I don't have any music in the background for this. Yeah, I probably should like figure out something, some like royalty free shit to like just have something going on for when I'm not yapping, but I just haven't bothered doing it. I just don't need any issues with like copyright or anything to come up, so All right. So we do. Sorry, I'm typing out mathematical formulas to estimate my damage. I mean, the streams stay on the channel. The VODs are still all watchable. At least they should be publicly watchable. Like, if I was just streaming on Twitch and not on YouTube as well, then I would care about it less because those VODs go away. But since the YouTube ones stay, I don't really want to deal with it. Yeah, this should just be this. So that's 9.75 damage on average. Yeah, that sounds correct. So if I targeted deliberately like 10, I mean that's fine. That's like 10. Well, I could massage it and get it closer. Yeah, we would do, this should be like this, 30 times 50. This should be like 50 minus 30 times 50. And that's the accuracy. So if I make these 55, typing out a formula, it broke. Why did it break? Because I fucked up the syntax. And I fucked up the formula. Also, all sorts of nonsense going on here. Yeah, but like it's not about the view count. It's about whether or not YouTube's inane algorithms find the videos and decide to like take my channel down or something. Cuz YouTube is just shit like that. Um yeah, this should just be this. Oh, that's wrong too. What did I do wrong here? I botched my formula. Okay, well, let's do this. Okay, I fixed it. Cool. I don't know what I did, but I did fix it. Okay, and so now if I do this, that's way too much. If I do this, it's better. Okay, we're gonna do 51% accuracy. I should look at just finding some royalty-free stuff. I mean that stuff exists. I just don't want to go looking for it in the middle of the stream. And we're just gonna have the cost for that be 20, I guess. Let's compare. So this is 15, 51, 30, 10 for a 25, 0.5 downside. And if we compare that to tail slap, 1570, 12 with an effect, multiple ranges and a drain, a relatively short cooldown, a little bit longer animation time, a little bit higher cost, or a little bit lower cost. Let's just run the numbers. 12 and 88. $15 and $30 with an accuracy value of 70. That's an 11.76 value. So yeah, so this needs to be boosted. That. 16 for value, maybe. Sure, why not? Oh, this should be. Oops, typoed. Okay. So we're going to make the damage on this actually 24. So 51, 24, 51, 30. And this was a this was bite, this was high crit, low accuracy. Sure. Okay. Sure, that'll work. Rend. So rend is going to be, I don't know, how about a 75% hit chance, 0 crit. Damage is going to be minimal. We'll do it 1 damage. We got Feather Dinosaurs and Tomb Raider. Oh, like the new one? I did see there was a new one. Renders a bleed. So effect bleed. Let's see here. This is 3 and 10. So let's write down the fishhook stuff. 15, 60, 4, 3, 10, 100, 21, 5, 0.5. Actually, let's make this 100 accuracy. To scale with a duration of, say, 6 seconds. 8 seconds. Chance value of 100. How about a cost of maybe 19? You hope GTA 6 is a flop. Feather Dinosaurs before GTA 6? Yeah, maybe. I am so not invested in GTA, I really don't care. So it's going to be a long cooldown, 20 seconds. Animation time, let's give this a 1.0. And a small drain. Drain of 5. Two for 8 seconds. L bleed? No. This should be a Talons attack. Tackle. High accuracy, low damage. Alright, so we'll call it 90 accuracy maybe to start. Give it a damage value of like 10. fine. I think that's correct. Oh, that's the same thing because that's there. True. Oh yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. Cool. And 28. Sure. Okay. What do I call a like a body attack? Blunt. Blunt attack. Damage 15. Hit 88. Crit chance of 20. No condition, effect, skill, duration, chance, move, or any of that. Draining. We'll do 5. It's 21 with a cooldown of 4. Slightly longer animation time. Sure. This is a 3 range ability. Crit below damage. I mean, bite is self-explanatory. I don't know if I need to have much of a descriptor there. Oh yeah, we don't even have. Yeah, some of these are descriptive, but most of them are just the effect. Okay, we'll keep that one. All right, next is Growl. This is a non-damaging move. This is Paralysis. So this is based off of threat display. Let's do just this. Print screen, paint, paste. What did I say this was? Paralysis? Damage is 0. Hit is 100. Crit 0. Condition none. Effect paralysis. So this is going to be less drain, I think. Put this at a range 3. Up the animation time. 1.0. Cooldown. We'll make this a longer cooldown. Cost. Let's make this 23. Make this 6 seconds. I give this 100% paralysis chance for 6 seconds. Let's make it 5 seconds. 100. The cooldown 20. Wait, is threat display completely broken? I think threat display is completely broken. We're gonna make this 20 and 33. And we're gonna go to threat display. We're gonna nerf the drain on this to 10. Paralysis 4. Forgot what the effect of paralysis was actually explicitly. Let's look at the status stuff. Apply stagger duration. Target can't move or attack. It's just the same thing everywhere. Or the guts generation. Hmm. Don't remember where this is. Oh, probably in here. Nope. So fear, there's fear. Is it maybe not? No, it should be implemented. There's the stagger. Oh, para is just accuracy evasion checks? I couldn't remember. Okay. So yes, I was mixing up my status effects when I was generating those attack text. I do have a stagger move, right? Headbutt staggers. Yeah, stagger is non-scaling. I could have just looked at headbutt. I would have known it. Whatever. So this effect should be for actually the roar. Stagger the opponent for 5 seconds. There we go. And then growl. Do this on 2. Let's make this cheap. Let's do this like a cheap move. 5/5 0.5 condition paralysis. 1 for 10. 100%. 75% chance. Since it's kind of a freebie almost. Cooldown. Cooldown at like 15. 16. So just a simple little slight small penalty to accuracy and evasion for 10 seconds on use. Make this a 1-2. Stagger. Okay. Rake. On crit bleed. I don't think we have that as a thing. That's why I put a question mark, because I don't know. Could do it in the chance thing, maybe. Chance on hit. Or I could do it under condition. We could do it under the effect. That would work. We can just call it like crit bleed. It's 3 and 10 on the other. 2, 12. 100 chance. But specifically on crits. Make the duration the same as the cooldown. This on close range. Very small drain effect. Actually, let's have a drain 0. And critical hit rate, criticals cause bleed for 12 seconds. Jaw lock. This is a new move effect I wanted to add. No move. $65, range 1, drain 10, cost like 30. 29. Cooldown 18 seconds. Animation time 1. %, chance, scale 1, duration 5, maybe. Eight. 9 the time. Make damage 18 for shits and giggles. Not move for 9 seconds. You cannot move for 9 seconds. Okay. It's jaw lock. So we need to add no move and crit bleed. Unimplemented. Unimplemented. Alright, we're like halfway through these. I probably will wrap it up before we get to the end. Pierce. Now let's check. Pierce is in a weird spot on my list. Why don't I see it? Where the fuck is Pierce? The fuck? Oh, there it is. I'm just blind. It's a horn attack? High crit, low damage. So that damage value. Let's go. Lucky 13. Hit chance of 74. Fuck it. Cooldown 10. Draining 8. I don't know. 20. 20 drain 10. Crit chance is 35. 17. Catch up on all the game reward stuff. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. I saw some of it already. I've been checking a couple times during stream here. This seems like an okay move. I think that's good. We can make it more spammable by reducing the animation time to 0.3 seconds or 0.3 whatever. All right, spear. This is another horn attack. High accuracy, low crit. Put this at range 2. I'm going to make this one a little more expensive. Maybe more expensive, but also a little bit more spammable. Cooldown wise. Does that make sense for spearing somebody? Not really. Who cares? It's all placeholder. Okay, 18 damage, 86 accuracy. That's what we're doing. 1886. 4. Stab the enemy with your horn. Highly accurate. Okay. 5 to go. Mule kick. High damage, low accuracy. What if we did a 50-50? Let's run the calc. Obscene amount of damage, but might be okay with that. Make it cost like 45, 50. All your guts right out the gate. Range 2. Drain 10. Drain 15. You know what? Drain 25. Animation time of 1.5. Cooldown 20 seconds. Put all your eggs in one basket with a big kick. Rip and Terror. Okay, this is the one I actually had as a really big attack. Let's make this one like more balanced version of Mule Kick, maybe. Drain 10, cost, say, 40, cooldown 30, animation time 2.0. If we do a much more reasonable amount of damage, let's do 27 damage, 28 damage, hit chance of what, 77, crit 5, crit 6, cost 42. Cooldown, let's make this 25. Let's make this doesn't need to be that high, 20. Highly effective, but expensive. Feeding a Frenzy. Heal and conditional paralysis was the idea. I don't have... this setup for multiple effects. Effect life drain. I could just do a scaled up version of Devour. Feeding Frenzy. We'll do that. It's like a bigger, more damaging version to Devour, but very, very expensive, but also fully heals you for all the damage dealt. So it's like a very swingy move. Strong. All right, Gore. High damage, low crit. Wait, what the fuck? Why did I change that one? Gore. Horn. Um, sure. High damage, low crit. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, 23 damage is better. 23, 69, 1. 0.5. Costing. Let's make it. Let's make it 25, but drains a fat 15. Cooldown 12. We'll make this a range 3 attack. Let's make it move in 1. Range 3, but moves in 1 and gores. Sure. Then Bull Rush. Move, stagger, and damage. Is this different than charge? Yes. Okay, move 2. Stagger for, say, 5 seconds. Range 3. Drain like 5. Anim time 1. Cooldown 15. Cost 35. Damaging 16. Hit chance 66. Crit chance of 3. Sure. So it's costs 5 more, does less damage, but is slightly more accurate. But causes the stagger effect, which is the big thing. And this will be. Let's make this. No, this will be horn. Let's make charge a blunt attack. So these are also different subtypes. Chance 100. Chance 100. Okay, looks good. That's all the attack effects coded in. 2 of them are still placeholder. We just have to make the effects actually work. But as far as the attack dictionary goes, that's done. All right, so that was a productive stream, if not an efficient stream. Because we sat and chewed through the passives for a while, but we fixed that up. So that's all going better. And then we did this. Let's run this once for the to end here. Make sure this doesn't just die. We're not gonna do the battle. We're just gonna do some training. Okay, so like Spear's a new one. Okay, we got recessive shake off. Why is this one got a space? Weird. Notice a typo. Wait. Did I notice a typo? The fuck? I mean, I did. There. Okay. More with a extra like period space. I think long game had an extra space. Oh yeah, because it's just a period, and this is coded to always have the space. True. Okay. Um, there. Reformat this so the spaces around the gaps are integrated into the description. Don't rely on auto formatting later in code. I need to remove that auto formatting as it doesn't handle lone periods.